Nobody in that emergency room is getting a break, and neither are we. Joy may have finally clocked out, but the chaos that gripped County Emergency for 12 straight hours is nowhere near finished. Just as episode 12 left viewers breathless, an hour defined by addiction spiraling to the surface, a staff pushed past their breaking point, buried trauma rewriting present-day decisions, and Dr. Santos walking a razor-thin edge towards something nobody wants to witness. The official trailer for The Pitt Season 2, Episode 13 has arrived. And if you were hoping the night shift would bring any relief, you are about to be very disappointed. The trailer opens with an audible timestamp, Dana's voice cutting through the noise as she says the clock has just hit 7:15, locking the next episode squarely into the 7 to 8 p.m. window. Visually, however, the footage may be pulling from a later stretch of that hour. Juke, Dr. Robbie's longtime friend, appears to be getting wheeled back to his room by the same nurse viewers were introduced to near the tail end of episode 12, suggesting his imaging has already been completed. Meanwhile, Dr. Robbie himself is shown with both hands pressed over his ears, his entire body language speaking the kind of tension that does not come from a single bad moment. It comes from hours of barely holding it together, and that tracks. He is not leaving. Not while Juke's scan results are still pending. Not while the possibility of something as serious as cancer is still hanging over the room. Dr. Al-Hashimi gave him permission to step away, and he cannot take it. Whether that is out of loyalty to his friend or because, as the season has quietly been suggesting, this emergency room is the only stable structure left in his life. The result is the same. He is locked in, physically and emotionally, with nowhere to redirect the pressure that is building inside of him. When Dana responds to his "just a few more loose ends to tie up" with the quip that they have more loose ends than a macrame wall hanging, she is doing what she always does, finding the lighter side of an impossible situation. The problem is that Dr. Robbie is no longer in a place where that lands the way it used to. The 4th of July, the system outage, the sheer, unrelenting volume of a day that never slowed down, none of it is funny anymore. The laughter is draining out of him in real time. Layered into this same stretch of the trailer is a shot of a new patient being rushed in and Orlando being moved off a transport. That last image is one that deserves its own paragraph of concern. Orlando's situation remains precarious, and the show has a history of building emotional investment only to pull the floor out. Hopefully, that is not where this is going. What follows may be the most quietly devastating exchange in the entire trailer. Noel Hastings tells Dr. Robbie that she supposes this is it for a while, an acknowledgement that he is almost out the door, headed for his 3-month motorcycle trip. He responds by asking, almost offhandedly, whether she wants to come with him. She deflects with a joke about not getting between a man and his vision quest. It plays as light banter. It probably is not. Given everything that has been said throughout the season about Dr. Robbie, the references to him tempting fate, Dana's pointed remark that it seemed like he was courting death, this reads less like a casual invitation and more like a man reaching out in the only way he knows how. Wrapped in humor because vulnerability without cover is not something he does easily. He has built a life around the ER and a situationship with Noel. And that is essentially it. There is not much else holding him here. The fact that he is asking her at all feels significant. Across the hospital, Dr. Langdon is sitting alone in the staff area. And this time it is Mel trying to be the steady presence for him, a reversal of the support he quietly offered her before her deposition and during the difficult stretch when her sister was admitted. When Mel asks if he is okay, he admits he is not sure he is ready to be back. She reassures him that of course he is. He closes the conversation by saying he is not sure Robbie would agree. The trailer then cuts immediately to Dr. Robbie and Garcia casting a hard look in what appears to be Langdon's direction. There is a coldness to it. Langdon stole medications to sustain his addiction. Dr. Al-Hashimi found out and has been guarded ever since. Dr. Robbie told him plainly that he did not want him in his ER. And yet here, Langdon is back on the floor, carrying the weight of all of that judgment, plus the private grief of nearly losing his family, symbolized in a close-up on his wedding ring that the trailer lingers on just long enough to make sure the audience notices. The moment that shifts everything tonally comes when Dr. Robbie slams his cup down on the counter. Hard. Dana reacts instantly. And what happens next is the argument that the rest of the trailer seems to be building toward. Dr. Robbie explodes not because the day has been long, but because the cracks are now too wide to paper over. He tells Dana he has too much to do, that he is not convinced Al-Hashimi is fit to run the department, and that he does not know whether Langdon is going to relapse. All three of those statements are legitimate concerns. None of them are the real issue. The real issue is a man who has been holding every piece of a system together for so long that he has forgotten what it feels like to set any of it down. Al-Hashimi's first day has created friction on multiple fronts, rolling out new protocols at a pace that has grated on the staff and pushing for 2 attendings on the floor at all times. A proposal Robbie shut down immediately. His distrust of her is not purely personal. It is a man who built something watching someone else try to redesign it on day one. Dana responds to his outburst with the kind of directness only she can deliver. She tells him he needs a break. He rejects it. What follows, in the final seconds of the trailer, is the line that will stay with viewers until next week. She asks if there is anything else. He looks her dead in the eye and says, "Yeah. You." The word lands like a door slamming shut. This is not the sad, worn-down Robbie the season has mostly shown. This is angry. Genuinely. Visibly angry. And it is aimed squarely at someone who has been one of the most reliable forces in his corner for years. The reason is not hard to piece together. In preparing to hand over the department to Al-Hashimi, Robbie needed to know that Dana would be the constant, the person who would keep the ship moving exactly as it always had. But Dana administered a medication in a way that prioritized protecting Emma over following protocol, and that decision has introduced a variable he cannot account for. She has become unpredictable to him, and unpredictability in his world is the thing he can tolerate least. Dana's face in response to that moment does not show retreat. It shows someone deciding how far she is willing to push back. If she chooses to fight, she will not hold anything back. And Robbie is going to feel every word of it. Elsewhere, quick cuts show Dr. Javadi under pressure. Dr. Santos once again appearing to be pulled away from charting a recurring trigger for her this season, and Dana appearing around a corner with an expression that suggests she may be bracing for questions about the medication she administered to shield Emma. The systems appear to be coming back online in the background of at least one shot, which would ease some of the logistical chaos gripping the hospital, though it will not touch the human chaos that is now the bigger story. Episode 13 is shaping up to be less about the patients coming through the doors and more about the people trying to hold the doors open. The exhaustion, the resentments, the unresolved grief and fear, all of it is converging in the same hour, and the show is not going to let anyone walk out of it unchanged. So here is the question: when Dr. Robbie finally says the quiet part out loud, when the man who runs that ER finally breaks down and admits he is not okay, who is actually going to be left standing close enough to hear it? And do you think Dana fights back? Or does she walk away? Drop your predictions in the comments. And if you are riding this season out with us every week, hitting that subscribe button is the easiest way to make sure you never miss a breakdown. Like this video if you think episode 13 is about to be the emotional gut punch of the season, because from everything that trailer is showing, it absolutely will be.